Elder advisors, don't go broke in a nursing home. Whenever they are in the house, you know the conversation will be interesting because now they have, guess what? Their fearless leader is back, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Weiss is back in the seat.
Yay!
He is the founder and CEO.
Don't go anywhere else, Kentuckiana.
Elder advisors. Lindsay Fleming rejoins us once again. Good to see you, Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay.
And also Steve Langdon. Hey. Attorney extraordinaire.
Keynote speaker.
Yeah. Keynote speaker. The headliner.
Yeah.
The man.
The man.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, you do so much, and I was talking about how it's turnkey, but sometimes it's best to articulate what you do via a story and the people that you help, Larry. So I'm just going to throw it at you. Give me a good recent story of someone you've helped.
Well, first of all, John Ramsey. Love John Ramsey. You know, I mean, I'm just comfortable here, Wave 3 Television, with,
Thank you.
with Kentuckiana's most erstwhile television host, the John Ramsey.
Keep it up.
The John Ramsey.
Keep rolling.
You know? Well, and you know what, John, I don't mind saying that you and I have reached a certain level of stature where we don't really need a name tag or anything to identify who we are. But some people that perhaps lack self-confidence do. And so when we meet with clients a lot of times at my office or at the attorney's, you know, we'll wear little name tags. And so I'm not suggesting that Steve Langdon is incompetent or nerd or whatever, but he decided, I need the producer to pull up this, please. Come on, tighten up on this.
That doesn't lack for size.
Right?
You think he's making up for something?
I think so. Overcompensating his legal skill, to be sure. So Mr. Langdon has decided that when he
Should I exit stage left or right?
he needs this big placard on the table for people.
Well, you know, somebody might be visually impaired. They might be visually impaired.
And you know what? It made me sad. It made me sad. I thought, poor Steve Langdon, non-voting equity partner at his law firm, that, you know, he has to have a big placard like this.
Self-esteem issues.
Well, Larry's back. Larry's back, everybody.
I think so.
This is so much better than last week.
It's very sad. But, you know, we had a family last week sit down, and, you know, one of the things we always ask families is, you know, do you have a power of attorney when they're there with mom and dad? But then the second thing I'll ask families is, how's the family getting along? And everybody's always kind of quizzical when they look at that. That means they're perplexed, Steve. And they'll look at me like that. And sure enough, it happened because they show us a deed, because we'll ask about real estate, because, you know, I'm not an attorney, but I'm financially looking and asking questions. And so, mom and dad took care of the deed years ago. They deeded it to all 6 of the kids. 6? That's a half a dozen, Kentuckiana. All 6 kids, but then what did we find out later, Mr. Langdon, erstwhile attorney?
I'm still stunned over the whole thing. So. No, they had. I think the attorney that had prepared the deed had put mom in what's called a life estate, which is all good if you're talking about probate issues, but when it comes to Medicaid, that can be a train wreck.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important, really, that if you're going to get legal advice, you've got to get legal advice from somebody who works in the Medicaid nursing home field.
Were you able to help them and restructure it?
We're just getting there now, but I deal with these often. We get these in, and the family thinks that they are completely set, all is well, it's been passed on to the kids, everything's going to be great, except we've got this thing called a life estate. Now, we got to deal with it, and they're oftentimes thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of trouble.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, the family assured me, oh, that's not the case here. It was taken care of. And I'm like, okay. And then like 2 hours later, they're texting Lindsay, guess what we found on it? Life estate. And so now, when the attorney does his legal stuff, because I'm not, you know, and we're like John Ramsey, neither of us are attorneys, but we are erstwhile personalities of Kentuckiana, right, John?
Right.
Right. So we do help the families, but now the attorney, Mr. Langdon, who is our elder law superstar attorney, still, for now.
Even with
I don't want to equivocate. It's doubtful.
No.
We love Steve, but he's going to have to go to all 6 of his family members, aren't you, Steve?
Oh, it's going to be a mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So
we'll get there.
I'm thinking what I'm getting to here, what I'm hearing is, hey, be sure that you pre-plan, and if you can get ahead of it with elder advisors
And do
tonight.
it right.
Do
Yeah,
it tonight.
absolutely. Freeworkshop.com. It starts by coming out tonight. We've got beautiful weather. We're back doing our 6 o'clock routine, so everybody can get there after work and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Mr. Langdon, of course, is the headliner for the elder law component of the legal, because Lindsay and I don't do the legal. To be successful, protecting all assets for husband and wife if one spouse goes in, or for a single person half, we almost always need the legal component. That's where Steve brings to the table from CWLB Law. To have that legal skill set, because Steve knows the legal rules, Lindsay know the financials, but that's why it's worth coming out. It's beautiful weather today and tomorrow. You know, you put this off long enough, families are burning $8,000 to $12,000 a month. It's completely unnecessary, and that's crisis planning. The family we were talking about on the deed, if they'd done the pre-planning correctly, way so long ago. Now we wouldn't have to go to the 6 family members and possibly their spouses to get this bell unrung, right?
Right. I mean, it's you've got to talk to the right people, and that's one thing that Elder Advisors is very good at, is having the right talent around them. But if I need a heart bypass surgery, I'm not going to the best mechanic, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to the legal side of things. If you're doing some pre-planning, you probably don't want to go to your family law attorney or to the business attorney. You want to find somebody who works in that nursing home area and Medicaid, and that's all they do.
Lindsay, I want to ask you something that you brought up a point that I think is interesting, and I think it will bring up a topic that you will be very familiar with. So you mentioned 6 kids. When you get that kind of dynamic, and some of them are looking out for themselves, others are saying, well, I want to follow mom or dad's wishes, or whatever the case may be. Okay, they're going to the senior facility. It can get very emotional.
Yeah,
and that's something else that Elder Advisors does. It's really hard to articulate and put on paper, but you can help with that.
Sure, and as a patient advocate, one of the things I do is help just stimulate conversations among family members. So I'm not ever making any decisions, and I'm not ever, trying to, this sibling is correct or this sibling is correct, but really just try to have conversations. And I can always refer out to other folks, counselors and things like that if we need some more in-depth conversations. But a lot of times it's just the uncertainty, and it's like a game of telephone, right? So most nursing facilities have one contact, so whether that's the healthcare POA or the oldest sibling or whatever, so they're calling, and that sibling is doing the very, very best they can, but it's already terms and nuances that they're not familiar with. Well, then they call, and then they call, and you get a little further from the message. So what I like to do is I do Zoom calls with all the siblings, so we're all together, and I'm delivering the information to them so everybody's hearing the same words. If there's questions about clarity and things like that, we get there, and everyone kind of leaves feeling better. So that's something I'm really excited to offer.
And it's all about saving money. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's more to it than that. We talk about emotions that are involved, but saving money is the key, because Steve, you were saying now, I used to say, oh, you're going to go between, $7,000 and $10,000 a month, and you're saying that prices went up like everything else.
Yeah, just like everything else. $5 a gallon for gas this morning as I was filling up. Yeah, we were seeing nursing homes now are $10,000 to $12,000 a month.
Ooh, but you can avoid that with Elder Advisors. So tonight, you mentioned the legal side will be talked. What else will you talk about? What are the topics?
A lot of it is just basically, getting people engaged in the workshop, asking questions. One of the biggest problems I think people have is a preconceived notion. They come to the workshop that mother's already in care. They're already writing the check for $7,000, and they're thinking, I know we should have done something more than 5 years ago and stuff like that. That's not the case. We can still protect the remaining assets. Okay, the $40,000 they spent in the last 3 or 4 months, that we can't get back. But we can always protect assets. The sooner you call us, the better it is. And it's not just the financial component, but it's also just the peace of mind. Because so many of these families are just navigating on fumes. Some of these people are 62 years old. They're raising their grandchildren. They're dealing with the 87-year-old parent. I know there's a lot of people in Kentucky that say, hey, they're talking about me. There's a lot of people like that right now. So let us help take some of that off, the stress off the shoulders, because that's what we do. Know one thing and do it well. This is what Elder Advisors does. We're not attorneys. We're always happy to refer the clients to Steve Lane at CLLB Law. We feel that he's going to get voting powers later this year at his law firm. We do.
Really?
We do. Denny Crane at Grange Pool and Smith assured me that he's going to make a call to Larry Church at your law firm, Steve. Good for Denny Crane.
That's awesome. There's a lot of reasons to go out. You will be entertained, as you can tell. This is a very personal event.
I'm dead serious.
But it's just at my expense. It's okay.
At the workshop, you'll be in. But I do want to say this, Steve. You coined the phrase, and I think a lot of people are apprehensive or they hesitate because they go, I don't want to go. This is going to be depressing. No, the news is good. You coined a phrase.
It's always good news. It really is. It's always good news. I had a lady in this morning who was at her wits' end, because mom and dad, they didn't have much. They just had the house and they had the contents. They had a car. That's not much, but what people find is the small things oftentimes take as much work as the big things. And that's really why you want to come in tonight, because you want to find out what it is, whether you have a little or you have a lot. There are things that we can do, and it's always good news to be able to protect you.
And you're going to take care of the folks in southern Indiana as well. If you can't make it tonight, tomorrow morning,
tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn on Broadway off Veterans Parkway for the Indiana folks that can't make it at 6 o'clock tonight. Sometimes we Kentucky across the river, be at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. But yeah, tonight, Hilton Garden Inn on Crittenden Drive, 6 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn. Come out, Kentucky, and freeworkshop.com. It's as easy as that, or call 855-LARRY55. We'll get you in, get you tomorrow. It's beautiful weather. You put it off long enough. Come out. It is good news. It really is. It's a stressful time, but it is good news because people realize we're kind of tossing them life rings. There's something to grab onto. They're not going to drown anymore. We can help. We can help.
We're going to talk more with Larry, Lindsay, and Steve, of course. We'll tell you reasons why you should attend the workshops and also ask some questions that maybe you're thinking about as well. We'll get some clarity here coming up next with Elder Advisors.
Treat yourself today.